Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Sukadeva Goswami says, O King Parikshit, I have previously narrated to you about a son of Bharat Maharaj, whose name was Sumati. He became the king, but he followed the path and philosophy of Rishabhadev. We have discussed some time ago about Rishabhadev, how he lived totally renounced, sometimes even removing his clothes and wander in jungle. This king followed his philosophy and relinquished his kingdom and went in jungle, totally renounced. Digambar means only with kopeen. Kopeen is loincloth worn inside. Many people followed him, followed his philosophy, pathways. And such people are called heretics because they gave up following Vedic injunctions laid down by Rishabhadev, but concocted and thought Sumati to be God. Thus they worshipped Sumati, the king, who had mustache and beard, as God, and advertised such to others. That's why such people are called pakhandis, stupid, heretics, by Sri Sukadeva Goswami in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is pakhanda? Means those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions and concoct their own philosophy and follow it and advertise to others. Palanachyatrayi dharma pashabdena iti kathyate. Palanachyatrayi dharma pashabdena iti kathyate. Tam khandayanti ye mudha pakhandaste prakirtita. Trayi dharma means Vedas and Shruti and Smriti. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatriki vidhimbina, Aikantiki Harir Bhakti Utpata Eva Kalpate. Any spiritual process is not governed by the rules and injunctions of Shruti and Smritis, means Vedas, Upanishads, and Puranas. And such a spiritual process they follow is just a disturbance in a human society. So, Palanachyatrayi dharma pasabdeneha kathyate means following scriptural injunctions and worshipping the Supreme Lord wholeheartedly is called pa. And those who avoid and criticize, ignore, not thinking, not desire to follow these Vedic scriptures, such fools, they create their own concoction and worship a man as God. and tell others to do same. They are called khandita, means pakhandis, heretics. Tam khandayanti, they discard Vedic injunctions. Ye mudha means ashes, such stupid fools. There are many in Kaliyuga. Further it is stated, Adya asmin Kaliyuge surayo vidvanso vimuhyanti Shruti smruti dharmeshu kutarkan sambhavya pakhandino bhavanti. Just imagine. In Kaliyuga today, even the greatly learned, you will see many Brahmins in India. Many Brahmins. They are learned. They read so much. They know, memorize so many slokas, verses. They know Sanskrit grammar. Very difficult. The most difficult part in Sanskrit is grammar. Very difficult. It's called Vyakarana Shastra. So, the six limbs, we have explained it in introduction to our Bhagavad Gita. You will see it. One of the limbs is Vyakarana Shastra. That is. So, they're experts, very learned, but they will take tea, coffee, they will drink. They will not follow Vedic injunctions. Thinking, they will be muhyanti, they will become bewildered. Maybe it is all meant for previous ages, not for now. We are in a present day, 21st century, 20th century. We will become 22nd century. It's not meant. They will think. They will become totally heretic, ignorant, and advertise their speculations to others. They will give big lectures, quote some verses, but not translate them properly. They will look like Brahmins. They will sit on a seat to give lectures. Heretics. And they will say, propagate a man to be God. They will worship, chant mantras meant for God, and they will tell others to worship, do the same. They are called pakhandis. It will happen so much. Due to great sins of Kaliyuga, people will not follow scriptural injunctions. They will think is not meant for human beings. And they will criticize God. And those who worship God, real God, they will criticize. They'll say, no, this is not meant. They will worship man as God. And they know God don't have mustache and beard. He don't become old. Don't have muscles. God. Real Brahmins also don't have muscles. If a Brahmin has muscles, then must be understood in that dynasty there is something wrong happened. Something gone wrong in the dynasty. Real Brahmins should not have muscles. Cannot have muscles. Doesn't matter what he does. Cannot. They're lifting weight all their life. I lifted weights. So much weight I lifted. I don't have muscles. Cannot have muscles. Not possible. God and pure devotee don't have muscles. No. So they know God don't have beard and mustache. Still, they will advertise a man who has mustache and beard to be God. Worship and make others worship. That will happen. They will criticize real God and real devotees and advertise badly, called dusprachar, to others. I remember this. One of my disciples, Madhuha Das from Andhra Pradesh, was with me. We climbed a train from Mathura going to Jammu, up north near Kashmir. And there, one Brahmin, learned, nice Brahmin. There were other also Brahmin, but he was an officer in some office. But this guy is not an officer, this is a Brahmin. We were maybe 20 people sitting in that coast, that area. He said, what is Kṛṣṇa? Kṛṣṇa is just a dancer with others' wives, dancing at dead of night, calling others' wives. He is not God. Just see. And they're claiming one with beard and mustache and God grown old is God. But Kṛṣṇa never grew old. He was 125 years king in Dwarka. He had no mustache, no beard. He never grew old. So he was saying like that. So I gave him a good sauce. My disciple Madhuva is still living. He will tell you. Mudha. Mudha means Prabhadante Naradhama. These are Mudhas and Naradhamas. They propagate such things, going against God, doing dusprachar. Their ashes, carrying the weight of burden of their family responsibilities. Material responsibility is a burden carried by ass-like human beings who are materialistic. See? Such people, they go to hell and take others with them. Because when they are punished in the hell, they have to cry. Pains are there. So they want others to listen to their prayer, their torments. And they want to hear others getting tormented. They also cry. They listen. Oh. Narak mein hoye thelam thela. Pushing each other. Okay, it's my number now, my turn now. Getting punished like that. Such people are called Āchārya, means uncivilized, and Nastika, and means atheists. I remember, I think was 1985, I was taken into a Hindu temple in California. It was a holy day, day of Holi. It's a festival in India. I was driven there by one of the white devotees, my disciples. He took me there because he got familiar with one of the priests there. So I found 4 or 5 priests. We had discussed, and then worship began. The same mantras were chanted for Tirupati Balaji, same mantra were chanted for Lord Ganesh, same mantra were chanted to Lord Hanuman. Same mantras. How can demigod's mantra supposed to be different? God's mantra supposed to be different. A minister cannot become king. A king cannot act as a minister. If minister is dead or some missing, then king can function as a minister until he finds a minister. That is possible. But minister cannot function as a king. If king is dead, you have to elect another one from the same dynasty. Like that. So, such class of people, they suffer in hell. Sukadeva Goswami says, O King Parikshit, there were many kings took birth in the dynasty of Bharat Maharaj, but there was one king named Gaya. Gaya. Gaya Maharaj. From birth, he had symptoms of Lord Vishnu's incarnation in goodness. He had those symptoms in his body. The symptoms are realized, just like I remember 1983, I was taken by Hari Shauri, Prabhupāda Kripa Swāmī, a GVC sannyasi, and his regional secretary, I forget his name, Bhumandala, some Gauramandala Bhumi, something like that name. These two were white devotees, and I was the only brown person. So we three, we went to Bali in Indonesia. We flew to Bali. And they did not inform me where we are going from the temple, from the place, center, there. We drove to a place. And that place, I did not know where we are going. We were going somewhere, So I sat in the car, went. They took me to a foreteller who knew some kind of magic. They both are still living. They are not dead. Prabhupada Kripa Hari Shauri, Prabhu. Very nice devotee. Australian, I think. And that man, maybe 60 years old, around 55, 60 years, not less than 55, I'm sure, not over than 60, somewhere there, man. He had eyes like Dhritarashtra but could not see. He did not see who was sitting in front of him. He came and was brought by some lady, I think his wife, somebody brought him, and he stood behind his sofa, and holding sofa, and he called Jesus. Today, Jesus came in my house. Jesus is sitting in front of my house. He got brown skin. We were three. Two are white, and I was the only brown. We got symptoms. I remember Lochan Das went to India first time. He became friends with the rickshawala because 5 rupees charges, he must have given 100 rupees. That's why rickshawala liked him very much. So rickshawala took him to his house. And then Lochan must have asked to take me to some astrologers. So he took him to the astrologer. The best astrologer was in those days was Balarām. His name is Balarām. I forget his last name. Pandit Balarām Misra. Pandit Balarām Misra in Vrindavan. Those days. 1987. Okay. So he went. I did not know. He never told me. Even after coming from there, from Pandit's place, Lochan never told me. He stayed only 5 days. He had to come back because his job had to go. So he showed him my photo and he told him I got these kind of fingers and toes. The symptoms make one great from beginning. One person don't become great later on, maybe become a great devotee, self-realized soul. To lead somebody, you have to be liberated. If you want to lead somebody on spiritual path, you have to be liberated first. Janma sarthaka kari. First make your life successful. And you can happen by being self-realized. So, Gaya Maharaj had those symptoms of great personality. So all the learned sages and saintly people called him the incarnation of Lord Vishnu in mode of goodness. Lord appears in many modes, all these modes, and his coronation expansions are also there. In those days, Sukadeva Goswami says, previously, O king, Parikshit, only the prince would become king. Means the dynasty person born in the dynasty of kings would be elected and selected to be the king. If there are 4 sons or 2 sons of the king, one of them who has those symptoms, the first son is first taken, and first son gone, then second son is put like that. And minister's son would become minister. Why? Because the purity of the dynasty is some percent is carried by the baby. To a certain extent, carried, taken by the baby. That person develops those qualities because of purity of this dynasty. Sometimes it is seen that pure dynasty, perfect dynasty also get cruel birth. Cruel person takes birth. But it does not happen so often, don't they? So mostly, pious people take birth in pious dynasty. Perfect dynasty bring perfect sons, children, perfect. To a certain degree, they have those qualities. That's why the sons of king are elected, selected, appointed to be the king. Gaya Maharaj was a perfect. He had all such transcendental qualities in him. And he was very, very pious. But now, due to the sins of Kaliyuga, the system is broken. There is no system in this. This system has ended, finished. Nowadays, elections take place. They fight elections, criticize each other, mudslinging. They speak bad about each other. And that's one who is very bigger rowdy, bigger liar, perfect orator, and all tell lies. They get selected, elected, like that. But Gaya Maharaj was not like this. He was incarnation of Satoguna. Satoguna is goodness. Incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He was very pious from birth. He performed many sacrifices after he was placed as a king. In his sacrifices, he would invite demigods, which included King of Heaven, Indra, and Lord Brahma. They would all come, participate in his fire sacrifice. Once what happened, that King Gaya performed a special sacrifice called Soma sacrifice, called Soma Yajna. In that, a juice, Soma juice is offered in fire sacrifice and then distributed as sacrament to others. Soma is a creeper's name. A creeper climbs on the tree. Vinasray na tishtanti pandita vanita lata. Somalata climbs on a tree and bears one leaf day after new moon day. And the second day bears 2 leaves. Third day bears 3 leaves. And on full moon day has 15 leaves on it. Somalata. And then, if the leaves are not picked from Somalata, Then, day after full moon day, one leaf breaks and falls on the ground. Ants eat it. Then second day, second leaf falls. Thus, on new moon day, there are no leaves left on that Somalata. Vinashraye natishanti pandita vanita lada. Like that. So, before leaves are picked, when leaves are fallen and unusable, cannot be used. So leaves are picked on only on full moon day, because new moon day there are no leaves, and each day after new moon day one leaf sprouts from that lata, that creeper. So they are picked on full moon day because there are 15 of them. So as many you want, as pick whenever you want, but has to be nearing full moon day. So listen. And leaves are picked by chanting mantras by Brahmins. Brahmins chant mantra to pick leaves like we chant. Tulsi amrita janamasi sadatum keshava priya. We pick leaves from Tulsi by chanting mantras without touching nails. I have heard they use scissors for picking leaves. No weapons, including nails, are not allowed to touch to Tulsi. And while chanting mantra, you pick leaves. Similarly, from Somalata, leaves are picked by chanting mantra, and Brahmins pick it. Those Brahmins who chant mantra and pick those leaves of Soma wine creeper, they are not considered high class Brahmins, because Veda Parthi Bhavet Brahmajanati Brahmana, that is different. So when King Gaya Maharaj performed Soma Yagya, fire sacrifice, where Soma juice from those leaves turned into juice, brought in the cup and offered in the fire sacrifice. After that was distributed, all the demigods were there, and King Indra drank excess of it. Somalata. 1 drop is to be taken, 3 drops to be taken. If you take 1 cup, you are done. You become drunk. So King Indra, king of heaven, drank in Gaya Maharaj's fire sacrifice, Soma sacrifice, that Soma juice, fresh juice. Fermented juices are not offered in anywhere in the Vedic civilization, neither to the deity, not to the picture, not to the sacrifice, nowhere. So, in that sacrifice, Lord Vishnu appeared and took worship from Gaya Maharaj and disappeared. That Gaya Maharaj was such a great devotee of the Lord. He protected and served or took care of all his subjects as if they were all his children. He was very pious. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continues saying that nobody was unhappy in Gaya Maharaj's kingdom. All the Brahmins were very pleased with him. They were so pleased, so much pleased, so they could give their own 1/6 of merits to Gaya Maharaj. All the Brahmins gave their 1/6 of merits, punya, meritorious results, to the king Gaya Maharaj. Please take our merits. It did not happen prior to this. Bharat Maharaj was great because in his dynasty, Lord appeared in mode of goodness as Gaya Maharaj, and everybody glorified him. If somebody wants to go back to Godhead, must worship the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, wholeheartedly and chant His holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, under the guidance of a perfect and pure spiritual master. Thank you very much.